So a couple of months ago, I showed you how I made some DIY vertical blinds in my conservatory, but annoyingly, I didn't have space for the DIY blackout blinds anymore. That got rid of a lot of heat in here, and I soon missed them as soon as I had to take them down. So now the question is, can we save over £1,400 by painting solar reflective paint onto the conservatory roof? And that's what I'm going to answer in this video. So to make sure I didn't have any problems with the finished look, I thoroughly cleaned my conservatory roof with my Carpenter spray. I'll leave a link to the things that I'm using below, but sometimes I alternated it with a dishcloth and some soapy water. And to make sure I didn't have a paint disaster, I removed all of the vertical blinds. It's best to be safe than sorry. And just stored those in a safe place. And because I'd read a lot of really bad reviews about how this paint left streak marks with a paintbrush or a roller, I used a Wagner W100, which I thought was a cheaper alternative than hiring an air compressor and a paint gun, and it was something that I could keep for shabby chic-ing things, and I knew it was going to be fun. But the main thing I was really worried about was whether it would work aimed at the ceiling. And it was fine. As long as the little tube inside was facing me while I faced the gun at the ceiling, then it could suck up the paint. And I learned that twisting the nozzle made the paint shoot out in different directions. And then this is my extension piece, which gives it a bit of a machine gun feel, but it allows you to reach to the ceiling easier without having to go on any steps. And then the all-important job, with or without a sprayer, is to protect the surfaces that you don't want to get paint on. And I'd probably say this is the longest time I spent on this project. I just used some gaffer tape and some sheet on a roll, but you are probably better off using a lot more tape than what I did, just to completely seal everything off. Lesson learned. So once I'd poured the paint into the reservoir, I stirred it with this very useful stick which had a few functions on it, like a paint tin opener and a really easy gauge so you could work out how much water to add to thin it, which is actually 10%. So once I'd stirred it, I attached the nozzle and then the extension arm, and then using an old cardboard box, bear in mind this fence is going so I really don't care about paint getting on it. So I just sprayed over the black text as a test to get an idea of how far away I needed to be, how much did I need to press on the lever, and play around with the nozzle. And you can't really miss the mask on my face. There was absolutely no way I wanted to breathe in aluminium paint in the air, so I made sure I got a decent one. And it's got little filters that I can test and change over time, so it's not a disposable one.
I feel like a stormtrooper in this. Possibly I'm in Dexter's crime scene. Think about it.
And then I went around the whole conservatory roof and sprayed it from the inside. Now you might be wondering why I didn't spray it from the outside, and that's because this paint was actually a water-based paint, so if it was going to rain it wouldn't have stood a chance. But then after a while I found the extension arm a bit too heavy and I found I didn't really need it, so I just ditched it and just went back to the paint sprayer on its own and sprayed it while holding the extension lead. And then once I'd finished the whole roof, I just went over it again. And I didn't really care about the separators in the middle because there were black trims there I definitely wanted to cover up. Okay, so I'm done for now, and I'll be clearing up and checking to see what the temperature is going to be like tomorrow. It's not going to be a fair test because obviously it differs every day, but hopefully it won't be as hot in here. So when I left it to dry, I had a mottle effect, which was far better than a dodgy brushstroke. And I really need to point out that if you have any clear sealant, the paint will not adhere to it. So no matter how much I sprayed the ends of the panels, the paint just kept sliding off. So that's something to bear in mind. So after all the effort I went through to try and give the conservatory roof its best shot, unfortunately I can't feel any difference. It's very hot in here. So I think we're going to have to go back to plan A of actually investing in some roof blinds. So this project has been very disheartening to say the least, but I am happy that I've got a new toy to play with because I love shabby chiking, and I know the Wagner paint spray system is going to make that so much quicker and much more fun. So hopefully it's given you a bit of an insight. It might just be down to where we got our paint from, because ours was from eBay, but I really thought it would have worked. And I don't want to spend any more money spraying more coats on when I can't feel any difference. So I think I'm probably flogging a dead horse here. So hopefully that's been useful. Feel free to comment below if you can recommend any other things, and hopefully I can find a solution fast because it's hot. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one, and hopefully I have better news. Right, thanks, bye.